Welcome back. At the end of the previous part, Angelica... Yeah. So, let's head to the Calvardian spy in the middle. Can't find anything to do. Hello, Tivoli. The Swift. I was just wandering around. You can drop the epithet. If you can be informal with Lloyd and Estelle, why not me? It was just a slip of the tongue. Besides, there's not much of an age difference between the three of us. I feel like I should be more respectful when talking to you. Are you implying that, from your point of view, I'm old? No, definitely not. She's what, 23? 23? She doesn't even look it. But it's probably best to drop it. Anyway, Lady Miltine has more influence in the higher echelons than I imagined. She's gathered prominent political figures, Braces, the Special Support Section, and all of you under the same roof. She's brought you here to kill you. Even the Black Fang and the Angel of Slaughter are present. Oh, that's right. Do you know them through Ourboros? Yes, I was familiar with the Blade Lord, who often worked with them. Joshua Estray left Ourboros around the time I joined. I see. Must have been when the Brights took him in. Hey, what you guys talking about? Swapping some sexy little secrets, I hope. Is that all you ever think about? How's the intel gathering going, Crow? Well, Randolph's chatty as ever, but it's Joshua that's a real treasure trove of info. Isn't it kind of weird Vita's not here? I imagine she'll turn up. Yeah, Emma seems confused about it too. Both know what she's like. Probably busy working on some grand scheme behind the scenes. Have you noticed tension in the air? I guess? I think I know what you mean. It's not just you Awakeners that are particularly sensitive to it. Everyone gathered here seems to sense something ominous brewing. Whether there's any connection to Operation Mirage or not, we'll likely find out at dinner. Yeah. There's the rivalries too. Yeah, it's weird we've not got round to that. We had one. Calm Before the Storm might be over pretty soon. Could just be me, but we better be prepared. Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens. I'll keep my eyes and ears open and see what else I can learn. My apologies for disturbing your pleasant conversation. Dinner is now ready to be served. May I please ask you to proceed to the banquet hall? Yeah, thanks. Right this way, sir. Right this way. Follow me! No. I remember the food here being pretty good. Yes, it was cooked by the finest chefs those Erebonia nobles could find. Those fish burgers of yours were quite delectable as well, I must admit. Sometimes simple is the best. Surprised you remember, honestly. That was a while ago, and they weren't anything special, just a quick, easy meal. Hey, I've been looking for you guys everywhere. The dinner is about to start. Great, I'm starving. But the discussion that follows is the main course, isn't it? That's right, it's more than just a social event. Let's get going. It's rude to keep good food waiting. Yes, we don't want to offend the food. The name of the game, everyone. Afterward, all of the guests, including the leaders of each state, gathered together at the banquet. A modest but wonderful meal thus began, provided by Duchess Cayenne. The lunch started a bit later, but the guests thoroughly enjoyed the fare and had a lively conversation. It was a unique opportunity for the attendees, and many meaningful exchanges were made. Sometime later, enjoyable as it was, the meal came to an end. Everyone then transitioned into the meeting portion of the event. The details of Mille Mirage were revealed.
What you see before you is an outline of Operation Mille Mirage, our response to Operation Jormungand.
I knew it.
It doesn't stray too far from what we'd expected, but even so,
Seeing it all laid out like this makes it overwhelmingly real.
I get that a plan this crazy is probably our only hope, but still, we're really gonna do this, huh?
The Empire has drastically increased its military might, due largely in part to the draft. Current estimates number their forces at 1.2 million strong, and that figure will only rise before the fighting actually starts.
On the other hand, Calvard's military can barely scrape together 800,000, at most. Even if they try to boost their ranks with a draft of their own, that probably won't go over too well, judging by their last election.
I'd very much like, if I was government, I'd be like, I don't care if it'll go over well. It's like, if we don't, we all die.
Not to mention the huge difference in weapons and resources between the two countries.
That's more the issue.
In terms of both aerial combat fleets and core tank units, Erebonia has a clear advantage. And that's without taking Panzer Soldats into account.
Yeah. There's no way the Verne Company's production line could even hope to keep up. What's more, the Empire now has an excuse to throw all the new technology it's been developing into this war.
With that in mind, it's entirely possible that the Civil War was nothing more than an opening move.
I agree. It seems likely. The same could be said of the orbital shutdown phenomenon, or even the 100 Days' War. It is our belief that these events were simply set up, all to pave the way for Operation Jormungand.
Damn it. Those monsters.
And Mille Mirage is your plan for how to hold back Operation Jormungand. We have with us the Republican Army of Calvard, the Royal Army of Liberl, the Remiferian and Viceland armies, as well as troops from Le Mans and Orid, and even resistance cells acting out of Crossbell in Northumbria.
And Thor's students.
You intend to coordinate every one of these individual forces united under a single banner to suppress the Imperial Army from all sides.
That's exactly right.
As you stated before, Calvard's armed forces total 800,000 strong. The Viceland army should bring that number up by about 100,000.
The Principality of Remiferia is prepared to lend its aid as well, to the effect of approximately 80,000 troops. Add to that figure an additional 120,000 from the Kingdom of Liberl.
Further, we can count on receiving around 20,000 soldiers from Le Mans and Orid combined, as well as another 10,000 from Crossbell in Northumbria. And this is to remain off the record, but we're expecting roughly 30,000 in reinforcements from Arteria as well.
Naturally, we plan on bringing Jaegers into the fight too. We've been scouting out Jaeger corps big and small. All in all, I'd say we're looking at a good 40,000 extra soldiers.
Altogether a combined total of 1.2 million. Finally putting us on even ground with Operation Jormungand.
In terms of numbers, yeah, but again, Tio's point is the more pertinent. What's your technology level at?
A war like this would stretch over almost half the continent.
Resistance cells from Crossbell, huh? That must be Sonia and the others.
Yeah, Muriel told me a bit about it, but...
Northumbria too? That have something to do with the movements we heard about there?
Yeah. The resistance there is made up of former members of the Northern Jaegers, who got absorbed into the Imperial Army.
And we got troops from Le Mans and Orid too. That would be their defense forces, no?
That's right. We've actually known about their involvement for a little bit.
I have to say, I'm surprised the High Seat of the Septian Church would choose to involve themselves so directly.
But Rosine mentioned something about this earlier, didn't she?
Yes. The Congregation for Divine Worship is likely deploying the Papal Guard as we speak.
The Imperial Army's technological superiority is undeniable, and we can't underestimate the threat Ourboros poses either. Further, directing and coordinating all parties involved will prove a tremendously difficult task. That is the purpose of our meeting, to determine who will serve as the key piece in our plan, the cornerstone upon which we can build our success. I present to you Cassius Bright, Lieutenant General of the Royal Army of Liberl, and, as of today, Supreme Commander of Operation Mille Mirage.
See, that is a very wise decision.
What?
Now that's what I call a power move.
Indeed.
A natural decision. Lieutenant General Bright did head the search and destroy operations against the cult in Crossbell.
What's more, he can already boast having pushed back an Imperial invasion once before. He's the most brilliant tactician of our time, without a doubt.
There's still the issue of, like, one of the advantages he had was the fact the technology level in Liberl was actually higher because they were able to use airships against the tanks and stuff like that. That gave them the edge. Very, very clever. They don't, as far as I know, other than like Artelia, they don't really have a technology advantage this time.
I should have known.
So you've accepted the position then, Dad? Even after hearing everything that's going to happen as a result of this plan?
I have. This can truly be called the Great War, the likes of which mankind has never seen before.
Ah, the war to end all wars, of course. This will be the only war, right? Uh-huh.
A war that will surely destroy the lives of all it touches, soldiers and civilians alike.
Yes, I'm reminded of a Christmas Doctor Who episode, where it's very much a case of like, they traveled back in time to World War I, picked up one of the soldiers, not going into details of why, they just did. And it's very much like the Doctor was speaking to him and being like, ah, you're from World War I, and he's just sort of like, looks at him like, what did you say? Like, what? It's like, World War I? It's like, heartbreaking, because imagine taking someone from the Great War, World War I, and then explaining to him like, yeah, there's gonna be one years later that's worse in terms of technology. Point being, like, you tell them like, yeah, this war that you're doing, there's gonna be another one just as big. And that's why we called this one World War I. It's like, oh, it would be heartbreaking to hear.
Hundreds of thousands of lives. Worst comes to worst, we could see casualties in the millions.
Millions? Yeah, that's definitely possible. But at least it will keep the Empire from completely destroying everything.
Yeah. She has a point.
I think I speak for us all when I say this dreadful decision weighs heavily on our hearts. But there are stakes here far more dire than the invasion of Calvard itself. Namely, Erebonia's 2 septarians, as well as its curse, which spreads further and further with every land it conquers.
It's all connected.
If we don't act soon, the Republic will fall to the Empire's advance, drowning the entire nation in its curse. It would then only be a matter of time before the surrounding countries fell as well, until finally all of Zemuria is in the curse's grasp. All for the sake of reviving the ultimate being, the Great One. This we must avoid above all else. If this dreadful decision is the only chance we have of saving our world, then so be it.
Makes sense.
This whole catastrophe began in Erebonia. Though I can't personally agree to this plan, as a member of the Imperial family, I must allow it.
It's like if I was in their position, it's that case of like, yeah, don't like it, but what other choice would we have? If only there was a third choice.
Your Highness.
This is the consensus we have reached. I trust you understand now the reason we've gathered here.
There are a few things we must ask you now. Namely, if you accept the necessity of our plan. And furthermore, if we can count on your cooperation.
I'm sure you'd like some time to talk things over amongst yourselves, and with your other allies as well. But as you can probably tell, that's time we just don't have.
Members of the Bracer Guild, Special Support Section, Class 7, and Thor's Military Academy as a whole. We need your answers, here and now. How do you respond?
Like, they're gonna be like, we're not in. Like I said, third way. Third way.
When it comes down to it, We, the Special Support Section, are just a single division of the CPD. We're in no position to defy the will of a nation, let alone 4. We understand the severity of the situation. But be that as it may, we can't, in good faith, lend our aid to this cause.
Good.
There has to be a better way to fix this mess we're in, and we won't back down until we figure out how. Not just to stop this war, but so that someday, Crossbell can take back its independence for good.
I see.
You can count the Bracer Guild out of this deal, too. We're the supporting gauntlet of the common people. Their security and protection will always come first.
Yeah, it makes sense. It fits with the code.
But at the same time, we understand that you have to do this. So instead, we'll make sure to get in touch with our headquarters in Le Mans to organize an evacuation plan for all the citizens.
I like that approach.
And in the meantime, we'll look for our own way to resolve this. Just like the SSS. That's the Bracer Guild's decision.
Estelle.
With so many of us still missing, we can't claim to speak for Thors as a whole. But we can, at the very least, tell you our decision as Class VII. Become the foundation of the world. In a sense, those words have shaped our class from the very beginning. A war this big is certainly one way to keep the curse in check. We could be a new foundation afterwards. One built over ruins and destruction. But this curse is not absolute. Though it sweeps across the nation, toying with our fate, there are still those who stand together to resist it. We've seen as much with our very own eyes. We need a plan to try and ensure the safety of the world as we know it. Mirage can be that plan. But, like the Guild and the SSS, we choose to find a third path forward for ourselves.
I'm glad he directly called it the third path, though.
That means dealing with any incidents brought about by the curse, as well as the rivalries. Whether or not that's even possible, I don't know. Time is running out on us even as we speak. Yet still, we'll continue to tread forward, step by step. Because we owe it to Prince Olivert to find that third path he always strove to take.
Rean.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
The path Prince Olivert would have wanted.
I see.
My goodness. The naivete of youth never fails to astound me.
It's not naivete. Especially when you look at Muse's face there. It's like... yeah...
And yet, as history shows us, it is precisely the young and foolish who bring change to the world.
Oh, very well put.
The same could be said of those not bound by duty or tradition. Come to think of it, Prince Olivert himself embodied every one of those qualities.
He most certainly did, and his spirit lives on in this next generation.
We have heard your convictions, clear and true. Operation Mille Mirage is already underway, but so long as you respect our position, we will respect yours in turn.
You're under no obligation to participate in our plan. That said, we'd appreciate your help wherever possible. That includes exchanging information, keeping civilians safe, and so on.
We certainly have more room to cooperate than Operation Jormungand does at the very least. You Bracers played a pivotal role in solving the incidents in Ourboros, as did the Special Support Section in Crossbell. I eagerly await seeing what such seasoned heroes can bring to the table.
Thank you. We won't disappoint.
I don't know if I'd call us heroes exactly, but we'll help out in any way we can.
And they'll write stories about us and call them the legend of hero.
Oh, that suspense was killing me.
As grim as our circumstances are, we now know what our mission must be.
Right! We gotta do everything we can to stop this war before it begins. And even if it does, we'll just have to find a way to end it.
Right.
Our first course of action is figuring out exactly what we can accomplish right now as members of Thors. I imagine the rivalries will play a key role in that.
Agreed.
You're all pretty gung-ho about this, huh?
How are you guys so relentlessly positive about everything?
It really is the most annoying thing about them, isn't it?
Hello, Campy.
Wait a sec.
I know that voice.
It's him! Enforcer number 0 of Ouroboros.
Campanella, show yourself.
Sounds like things are coming along nicely over here. Quite the illustrious guest list you have here. I'm almost starstruck.
Indeed, it would seem the rumors weren't unfounded.
Belle! The new third Anguis of Ouroboros.
Lady Mildine, my greetings to you and all the leaders of the world gathered here today. I see a number of familiar faces and some new ones too. My, how delightful.
You must be Dieter Croesus' daughter. I've heard the rumors of what you've become.
A member of an international terrorist organization. Gracious me, the audacity of this woman.
Whoa, he really called it, huh, Lady Belle?
Ha, you're one to talk.
Hey, this is some party you guys got going on.
Real swanky joint, too. Shame for you, Zephyr's here to crash it.
Surely, you...
Surely not.
Boss! That means Zeno and Leo are here too, doesn't it?
Sure does. But hey, we're not done with the lineup just yet. Don't think things will go the same for you here as they did at the workshop.
Please excuse our intrusion.
Sharon.
George!
So you've come. Lecter.
It's like someone else needs to say it as well.
It's really you.
Thank you.
In the flesh. Long time no see, ladies.
My lady, everyone, I apologize for interrupting such an important meeting.
You should have just kept the mask on, Angie. If you're all quite finished, it's time I make the final introduction.
Your Highness.
Cedric, why are you...
If it isn't my dear sister Alphen, and Class 7. Your little stunt in leaves caused me no end of headaches.
You had it coming! That's what you get for getting Elise and Tio all wrapped up in your schemes!
That's simply how it works between us. You should understand this by now. The rivalries are no different. But this particular matter has been entrusted to me by Chancellor Osborne himself. Consider this a little congratulatory visit from us to celebrate the commencement of Operation Mirage.
Were we just hacked?
Yep. They probably used the Society's astral code to infiltrate the system.
Yeah, and just that astral keeps coming up in so many different weird places.
Courtesy of Belle and the Fool, I'd assume.
Sounds like we're in for a fair bit of trouble then, huh?
Yeah, they're coming.
What the?
Damn, they brought Imperial warships.
No, not quite. This is the bridge. We have an emergency.
Really? Oh.
We've got 8 Crimson ships approaching on our 9. And with them, a 280 Arch class airship.
Could it be?
Damn. There's only one ship that friggin' massive.
Ghost I have goosebumps!
You mean the one that appeared during the orbital shutdown? That's right. Ouroboros' pride and joy. The largest battleship in the history of mankind.
I know this song.
The Crimson Ark. The Glorious.
Glorious. His face. Like, my. This is quite the atrocious raid. It's good to see the glorious, oddly enough. I see. So it's just as the advance warning predicted. Moreover, it's not one of the Empire's ships, but one of Ouroboros' aircraft carriers. One of. What does that mean? It's as if they expected us. At the end of the meeting, Duchess Cayenne did make one prediction. That either the Imperial Air Force or Ouroboros' battle carrier would appear in the skies. Her face. She knows what's coming. I think we all know what's this thing with the Oliver situation. I don't think it's meant to be hidden. It's like I keep pointing out, like, well, that's clearly Oliver, clearly this, clearly he's alive. I don't think it's meant to be hidden. I think it's meant to be obvious. Were it the Imperial Air Force, their progress down the path to violence would be deterred in a sense. This airspace is directly above the borders. With the leaders of each state on board, an attack on the ship would simply be too reckless. Even if it were successfully captured, this would still have a massive effect on cross-national negotiations. And that would instantly bring a halt to the war. That's what she was betting on, wasn't it? Things turned out differently, though. They opted for an Ouroboros-affiliated ship instead. Since seeing the princess and the other leaders entombed, here would just add fuel to the fire for the war. No. Damn it, so they're planning to pin it on Calvard, aren't they? This is no joke. We can't let this happen. Of course, it's around the honor of the Bracer Guild. You guys called us here knowing that this would happen, didn't you? Correct. And it's worked out perfectly. We still have an escape route available for our guests, so you needn't worry about that. Can I get each of you to divide your troops in half and have them accompany you to the hangar? Enemy forces are coming in from the deck. I'd like the remaining half to help take care of them. Let's divide into two groups then. One for starboard, and one for port. Oh, are you guys prepared that far in advance? If that's the command. I've been holding it off. I'm trying not to sing it. But we don't have time. Let's decide on the groups. Be sure to balance the teams well. Understood. Rean, Lloyd, and Estelle divided everyone into teams, making sure to keep them balanced. The result was a counterattack led mainly by Rean and Class VII, with Estelle, Joshua, Ren, Lloyd, Ellie, Toe, Crow, Nuvali, and the others. The other members worked with Aurelia, making way for the hold, while ensuring the safety of the national leaders. Oh, who do we want? Ooh. Sorry, gotta have you. It's like, I mean, come on, you three. I mean, it's Randy and Ag. Sorry. Ooh. It's gotta be Tita. Again, sorry. No to you after what just happened. But it's like, yeah, out of everyone there, it's gotta be Tita.
Now, shall we get going?
Best of luck, all of you! You guys be careful, okay?
Wait, what in the world's going on? Whatever it is, it looks like we got a real juicy scoop on our hands. Oh, no you don't.
I believe you all know what it is you must do.
Yeah!
We got this.
Just leave it to us.
We are currently under attack by Ouroboros' enhanced Jaegers and members of the Red Constellation.
The Red Constellation, huh? Gonna be a real pain in the ass, especially with the Blitz there.
It is odd where they went with, like, we're gonna balance the groups. Like how? Men and women. What?
Yeah, no kidding.
Gilbert's probably heading up the enhanced Jaegers. Not that he's anything to worry about. His archaisms might still give us some trouble, though.
Speak for yourself. I'll make sure that little errand boy regrets ever stepping foot in here.
Ash, Kurt, I'll be counting on you.
You got it.
Understood. We must stop His Highness.
Yuna, Altina, We're going to need your support as well.
Of course! Let's do this, Ellie!
I'll give it my best. Time for you to show me that new Orbal gear you told me about, Tita.
Orbal gear.
Yep. Prepare to be amazed.
All right, guys. It's time to begin our joint operation. Team A will go starboard. Team B, you head port.
Our current position is the rear side of the lower deck. Let's make our way up to the top deck. Take out any intruders you find along the way.
Right! This will be the perfect chance to put our teamwork to the test, huh? It's our time to shine, Rean. Let's go!
Right. Show me what you've got, Lloyd.
You can switch between teams A and B in the mission. Keep L2 switching between the two teams to clear the way to the upper deck. Once you reach your destination, the teams will merge. Make sure all members are equipped and ready for battle. And I'm gonna end this part here. Ba 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 ba.